topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Draw me close to you, never let me go, and lay it all down again, to hear you say that I'm a friend.
Today, the Almighty Creator desires a deep personal relationship with you. My name is James Robertson. I'm a researcher, publisher, and teacher regarding the matters and truths of the Almighty Creator, whose true name is Yah, the eternally self-existing. I've been actively serving him since 1993, over 31 years. If you are not actively serving Yah, then by default, you are serving Satan. My objective is to show you how you can make a big difference on earth and qualify for a position of great esteem in heaven for eternity. It is important to understand that as a believer, just being good is not the point. It is relationship with Yah that counts. Without this, you will be in a very unpleasant place in heaven with no way out. My aim is to show you how to get close to Father. If you're a good person without a clear relationship with Yah, then you're in a spiritual no man's land and you will not enter heaven when you die. The Creator has said regarding unbelievers, why would I want someone to spend eternity with me when they do not believe I exist? Yah is calling everybody on the planet to be involved and serve him and help him to have victory over Satan. My goal is to show you how to do this. Fundamentally, we each need to learn how to see things on earth from Yah's perspective. My aim is to teach you how to do this. Please visit my website at www.endtimeissueministries.org or email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org. Today's broadcast is the only reason we exist is to have a deep personal relationship with the Almighty and be his friend. So the overview, a question that should exercise the mind of every human being is, why am I here? This broadcast will answer that question. We will then look at the essence of my message to those who do not believe in the Creator. And finally, we will look at the state of your relationship with the Creator. So we're looking at the only reason we exist is to have a deep personal relationship with the Almighty Creator and be his friend. As I've said, a question that should exercise your mind is, why am I here? If you believe in a random process whereby you came into existence in an uncontrolled process with zero design oversight, this may not concern you much, although it really should. If at some level you have belief in the existence of a Creator, whether you call him God or G_D or Allah or the Almighty or Hashem or Yahweh or Yah, etc., you should know the answer to that question. But from personal observation, it seems to me that virtually no one really knows the true answer to that question. In fact, virtually no one is asking the question. The correct answer to the question is, the Almighty Creator who has always existed, his true name is Yah, the eternally self-existing, was lonely and he wanted friends to talk to and do things with. You may well ask me how I know this, and the simple answer is that he told me. However, it's entirely possible to deduce this. Consider the evidence of structured evolutionary created presented in the article, the essence of my message to those who do not believe in the Creator, which follows this. I submit that if you truly engage with that article, you will agree with me that there is a creator. If at that point you're not a believer in that creator, I encourage you to pray the prayer on coming to belief in the Almighty Creator, Yah, the eternally self-existing. It's on the website. Right at the top of the website, there's a banner, section 1, and it's the second web page under that. And I'll also give you the prayer at the end of this video. I really encourage you to pray it. Note that creation took place in an evolutionary manner, that is, iterative, recursive, progressive, inventing of more and more complex events. This likely took place over millions, if not billions of years. See the explanation in the article on the Creator that we're going to look at a bit later. It's therefore important to note that all of this took place in a progression of create matter. Big Bang creates the universe. Galaxies are created. Solar systems are created. There are many suitable for life. Planets are selected and trialed. Planet Earth is selected. Atmosphere and other elements created. Plants created progressively. Animals created progressively. And finally, human beings created. If you follow the logic above clearly, it becomes apparent that the entire hierarchy above was a necessary precursor to the creation of human beings. I really encourage you to get that point. This massive universe, this complex planet, all had to be there before you could be created. It's not some random process, friends. So clearly the Almighty Creator went to a huge amount of trouble to create an environment where he could place highly intelligent beings with advanced cognitive, deductive, analytical, conversational, etc. abilities that he could engage with and enjoy doing things with. In other words, this entire universe, right down to the individual human beings, exists for one reason and one reason only: to be friends of the Almighty. I really hope that you're getting this. I'll go into a bit more detail in a few minutes about evidence of the existence of the Creator. But to me, and it's easy for me. I mean, I've been walking with him for 31 years, more than 31 years, nearly 32 years, 31 and a half. In March 93, he spoke to me audibly as clearly as you can hear me now. So I knew that he was real, and he's been talking to me ever since. In fact, it never occurred to me that he wouldn't talk to me after he'd spoken to me audibly. He can teach you a considerable amount, because that's what it's about, folks. He wants to be part of your life. He wants to be your friend. He wants to engage with you. He wants to help you in your business, in your job, in your bringing up your children, in your recreation, in your holiday. Whatever it is that you do, he wants to be part of that. He wants to enjoy it with you. He wants to give you ideas to improve it. So why are you just ignoring him? You're going to get such a shock when you die. What does it mean to be a friend of Yah? Well, what does it mean for another human being to be your friend? In the context of the Creator, a friend is one who enters into conversation and dialogue with Yah, involves Yah in their family life, consults him, etc. Involves Yah in their job or business situation, consults him, etc. Involves Yah in their hobbies, consults him, etc. Involves Yah in their religious practices, consults him, etc. In the context of the current spiritual dispensation, a friend fights against the satanic and demonic hordes by walking in truth, righteousness, emunah, faith, humility, prayer, and so forth. In other words, a true friend of Yah involves Yah in everything that they do. They understand Yah's objectives on earth today, and they work with Yah to achieve those objectives. Think about it. Why else would you be here? You may really get a little offended when I say to you that Yah was lonely and he wanted friends. Sorry, it's the truth. It's what he told me. He's repeated it. Why shouldn't he be lonely? Why shouldn't he want friends? Think about it. That's what you're here for. And if you don't get that, the rest of your life is a completely fruitless, futile waste. So as I just said, if you are not doing this, then your life is a complete and utter waste of time. In this context, consider the Great Commandment given in Matthew, Matthew 22:37 in the Bible. Yahushua, incorrectly Jesus, said to him, "You shall love Yah, the eternally self-existing," incorrectly the Lord, "your mighty one," incorrectly God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. You can look it up in Bible Hub, Matthew 22, verse 37. The same quote is presented in Mark chapter 12, verse 30, and both of them are quoting Devarim, incorrectly Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. This is a fundamental statement of what I've stated above. Love Yah in everything and serve him in everything. I say again, if you're not doing this, then your life is entirely pointless. So let's read that again. You shall love Yah, the eternally self-existing, your mighty one, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Fundamentally, the most important verse in the Bible, or the most important 3 verses in the Bible, since it occurs 3 times. If you're a Bible believer and you're not doing this, what's the point? Such a futile waste of time. So accordingly, I encourage you to actively seek to become a friend of Yah. Pray, Father Yah, I now choose to become your friend. Please take my hand and help me to become a friend to you. And then do what you find to do. Please read the article, The Critical Elements of Becoming a Friend of the Almighty Creator. So in conclusion, there's much more information on the website www.endtimeissueministries.org. I encourage you to dig deep and drop me an email at james@endtimeissueministries.org so I can help you and pray with you and counsel you, etc. May Father bless you and keep you, and make his face to shine upon you, and grant you his peace. May Yah judge me severely and correct me harshly, and show me the level of my present deception and how to correct it, with regard to everything that I write and publish. I pray that just about every night. It's in the footer of my email signatures. It's on the website. How can you trust my testimony? How can you trust my advice? Because I've been praying since about 1998, initially irregularly, but for the last, 10, 20 years, frequently. Yah, judge me severely and correct me harshly, and show me the level of my present deception and how to correct it. And I've been corrected, folks. I've had some harsh judgments, ruptured teeth that went septic, car accidents. Not a lot. Once you've been judged a couple of times, you get the point, and you clean up your act and you don't do it. But that gives me a high level of confidence that what I'm telling you is truth. So we're going to carry on, and we're going to look at the article 2021-0403, the essence of my message to those who do not believe in the Creator. This message is to every individual on planet Earth, irrespective of your current belief, your religious standing, or your view on eternity. While I come from a Christian background and my message is therefore to some extent colored by this, I no longer regard myself as a Christian. In fact, I've been kicked out of quite a number of churches for challenging their beliefs and teachings. Today, I regard myself purely as a servant of the Almighty Creator of the heavens and the earth, whose name I know to be Yah, the eternally self-existing. And it is His message that I offer to you today. If you're approaching this article from the perspective of having a Jewish, Muslim, Christian, or other religious heritage, then there are articles on the website for each of these groups. And I encourage you to read the article that is aligned with your beliefs. Look at the table of contents on the website. That said, if you're a member of one of those groups but have questions about the reality of their Creator, then I encourage you to read what follows. My goal over the next few minutes is to convince you irrefutably that there has to have been a creative agency involved in your existence and my existence. So my message is personal to you as an individual. And I want to stress that you too can come to a place of relationship with the Almighty Creator, your Father in heaven, such that you can satisfy His desire to have a deep personal relationship with you. This is about you achieving your full potential as a human being for eternity. This is about relationship, not slavish observance of minutiae. In all my writings, words and phrases in curly brackets are commonly used words that are incorrect at a level that they should be avoided. My journey with the Almighty has been deeply involved by the rigor of my engineering training. I have a doctorate in engineering. And so I have a high level of confidence in what is written to do below, supplemented by the prayer that I shared with you a couple of minutes ago. Folks, if you're a Torah keeper or a Bible keeper, what Yah calls a Bible worshipper, or a Quran worshipper, if you have a little book, and as much as they are physically quite big by human standards, in Yah's terms, they are little books. As much as you put your trust in one or other of these books, or more than one of them, such that you do not have a relationship with Yah, you have completely and utterly missed the point. And the point is that virtually all the content of all of those books, barring the 3 verses that I've just referred to, are second order through to being completely irrelevant. So let's look at the essence of why you should believe. This broadcast is intended specifically for those who do not believe in a Creator and seeks to address the reasons why I believe that you should believe in Him. Firstly, engineering proves there's a Creator. We live in a technically complex and sophisticated world where we are surrounded by engineering structures of great sophistication and complexity. If you have any knowledge of how these systems and structures are created, you will know that they take thousands of hours of time by engineers in a wide diversity of specialist disciplines to conceptualize, design, build, and operate. They do not come into existence by some random evolutionary process. They come into existence through a highly structured and highly systematic engineering, design, construct, and operate process with large numbers of highly skilled professionals. I suggest for your consideration that this universe, this planet, the plants, the animals, and human beings required an even more sophisticated design, construct, and operate process than even the most advanced human engineered structures and systems. And therefore I assert that there has to have been a creative agency, that is, a supernatural creator, who brought all of this into existence. It's also important to recognize that the design of these structures and systems evolves as engineers gain experience with designing, building, and operating them. I therefore assert that during the creative process, the Almighty Creator progressed in an evolutionary manner, progressively learning more and more about the systems that he was creating. So I would suggest to you that even if you have undertaken a moderately complex cooking recipe or knitted a jersey or made a table or a dog kennel or laid out a garden, you know that it takes significant intellectual effort and learning and appropriate tools to be successful. So how then do you believe that all of this around you happened randomly without a controlling agency? It's easy for me to say this, folks, because I have 100% total certainty that Yah is real and he created all of this. But I don't know how to say this without being insulting. If you literally walk this planet and you cannot see the hand of the Creator in everything, you must be blind or intellectually impaired. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but it is blindingly obvious if you have eyes to see and you apply your mind even a little bit instead of believing all the claptrap you've been fed. Point number 2, nature proves there's a creator. Many people who do not believe in a creator nevertheless are enthusiastic about nature and seek to preserve nature. It is my contention that what we call nature, being the topography, the diversity of plants, the diversity of animals, etc., is indicative of a very sophisticated and highly creative agency that conceptualized, designed, assembled, and deployed all that we call nature. I therefore suggest for your consideration that the marvelous diversity of this thing we call nature could only have come about through the intervention of a supernatural creative agency. I further suggest for your consideration that nature came about in a structured evolutionary manner in which the most simple organisms were created first, with more and more complex organisms and entities being created as experience was gained with the simpler organisms. This process potentially took place over thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands of years, maybe even longer. Timescale really doesn't matter. But if you're a religious person and you speak against the theory of evolution, I suggest you've missed the point. The majority of the theory of evolution is correct. except that it denies the existence of the creator, and it doesn't recognize that the creation took place in an evolutionary manner. Conversely, if you're an evolutionist and you think that the religious people are crazy, well, when they tell you that all of this happened in 7 periods of 24 hours, it's not mechanically, technically, physically possible that this entire universe and everything in it happened in 7 periods of 24 hours. It turns out that the correct interpretation of the word translated day in the Bible is a period of time of indeterminate duration. You remove that falsehood, and then a significant part of what the religious people believe is valid and valuable, just as a significant part of what the evolutionists believe is valid and valuable, and you fit the two together. Then the human body proves there's a creator. The human body is massively complex, is a massively complex system with overall complexity and sophistication way more complex than the most sophisticated and complex systems invented by human beings. In addition to this, it contains sophisticated mechanisms to allow it to replicate and create new human beings that are an exact merge of their parents. We take it for granted that there are dozens of medical and clinical specialties that are required to look after and maintain the human body when it fails to operate as expected as a consequence of illness, abuse, or other dysfunction. Yet many people do not recognize the overarching intelligence necessary to create all of this. We also take it for granted that human beings are perceived to be attractive in diverse ways in diverse cultures. How did that happen randomly? Again, we find that the creation of human beings took place in an evolutionary manner, with various animal forms, particularly apes, created progressively as the creator gained experience in getting to what he wanted to create. Then the periodic table of elements proves there's a creator. I'm going to quote quite extensively from Wikipedia because it really proves my point. So Wikipedia states, the periodic table, also known as the periodic table of elements, is a tabular display of the chemical elements which are arranged by atomic numbers, electron configuration, and recurring chemical properties. The structure of the table shows periodic trends. The 7 rows of the table, called periods, generally have metals on the left and non-metals on the right. The columns, called groups, contain elements with similar chemical behaviors. 6 groups of accepted names have accepted names as well as assigned numbers. For example, group 17 elements are the halogens and group 18 are the noble gases. Also displayed are 4 simple rectangular areas or blocks associated with the filling of different atomic orbitals. The elements from atomic number 1 hydrogen to 118 organoson have all been discovered or synthesized, completing 7 full rows of the periodic table. The first 94 elements, hydrogen to plutonium, all occur naturally, though some are found only in trace elements, and a few were discovered in nature only after having first been synthesized. Elements 95 to 118 have only been synthesized in laboratories, nuclear reactors, or nuclear explosions. The synthesis of elements having higher atomic numbers is currently being pursued. These elements would begin an 8th row, and theoretical work has been done to suggest possible candidates for this extension. Continuing from Wikipedia, numerous synthetic radioisotopes of naturally occurring elements have also been produced in laboratories. The organization of the periodic table can be used to derive relationships between the various element properties and also to predict chemical properties and behaviors of undiscovered or newly synthesized elements. Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev published the first recognizable periodic table in 1869, developed mainly to illustrate periodic trends of the then known elements. He also predicted some properties of unidentified elements that were expected to fill gaps within the table. Most of his forecasts soon proved to be correct, culminating with the discovery of gallium and germanium in 1875 and 1886 respectively, which corroborated his predictions. Mendeleev's idea has been slowly expanded and refined with the discovery or synthesis of further new elements and the development of new theoretical models to explain chemical behavior. The modern periodic table now provides a useful framework for analyzing chemical reactions and continues to be widely used in chemistry, nuclear physics, and other sciences. Some discussion remains ongoing regarding the placement and categorization of specific elements, the future extension and limits of the table, and whether there is an optimal form of the table. So as stated above, the discovery of the full table of elements took place over many years as human beings gained more and more knowledge. The periodic table is one of the key elements of what makes the entire creation possible. It required a highly sophisticated and highly visionary agency to create this before any matter could be created. Get a fix on that, folks. Yah had to create all the lower level atoms in quantity before he could do the Big Bang. And on top of this, a massive diversity of compounds were created and continue to be created using these building blocks to give rise to all that is in the universe, from the most microscopic organism on Earth to the majesty of the planets and the universe. There is no way that this table could have come into existence in a random self-inventing process. There has to have been a highly intelligent and visionary creative agency. Note that the complexity of the universe, with millions, if not billions of stars, planets, etc., is such that this certainly developed progressively over millions of years, at the very least. Please step back. If you're battling with what I've just shared with you, go and look it up on Wikipedia. Go on to Google and say periodic table of the elements and see what you find. And then apply your mind. Take the blinkers off. There is absolutely no conceivable way that that came into existence in a random, self-inventing, uncontrolled manner. It is concrete evidence of a creative agency with massive intellect, massive creative power, that built that thing from scratch and then used those principles to build all these sophisticated molecules that make up the solar system and the earth and the plants and the animals and you. Point number 5, planet Earth and the universe prove there's a creator. The complexity of this universe, this solar system, this planet, all point to a massive creative agency with a highly developed view of what was being created, such that the solar system and planet Earth operate in a stable and reliable environment in space that is suitable for this planet to have exactly the right atmosphere, gravitational field, etc., to support the diversity of life forms that exist on the planet. This did not happen randomly or by accident. It was clearly designed and executed over a very long period of time in an incremental, that is, evolutionary manner. Note that in the process of creating this solar system and this planet in an evolutionary experimental manner, it is entirely probable that there are other solar systems and planets which are similar to ours, some of which were created and discarded before our system was created, and others may be in the pipeline in case this experiment fails. Think about it, folks. If you live in a city, it's not that easy to see, but you've probably sometime in your life been out in the countryside at night where there's not so much light pollution and seen the panoply of stars and planets and so forth. You may well have seen photographs from the Hubble telescope in this latest new telescope. If you've seen any of this, how can you say that there's no creator? I once was in that place, but if I look back, I was exceedingly stupid, if you'll forgive me. Then point number 6, sexual reproduction proves there's a creator. The vast majority of animals and most of the more advanced forms of plants reproduce sexually. In other words, male reproductive organs produce male gametes, reproductive cells, which are transferred to the female reproductive organs where they fuse with the female gametes. This can be through sexual intercourse as in human beings and mammals, or it can be through forms of pollination by bees, wind, or other agencies, as in some types of plant or in other ways. In the case of butterflies and most insects, the adult male form of the butterfly fertilizes the female adult, who then lays eggs. These eggs hatch and turn into caterpillars, which in time pupate and form a chrysalis, which in time hatches into a butterfly. It's vital to recognize that in all these situations, this mechanism is a central component of ensuring that the species continue to exist and maintains its characteristics for multiple generations. It's also vital to recognize that all components of this cycle have to work perfectly in order to produce the next generation, and therefore in order to ensure the continuity of the species. This being so, it is mechanically impossible for those plants and animals to have developed in an evolutionary, self-inventing manner. All components had to be created together and all had to function effectively and reliably, else the species would die out at the first generation. This again points to a highly precise and highly inventive creative agency who created all of these components and made them function together. The remainder of this article can be read on the website. Look for the essence of my message, do not believe in the Creator. Right at the top of the website, you'll see the table of contents. Go into the table of contents and you'll find this. If you're on a mobile phone, use the 3 dots in the top right, certainly an Android phone, and tap find in this page and start typing in Creator, and you'll get a few hits and you can pick the right article. So I'm out of time. Next week I plan to discuss, you really don't want to die as an unbeliever and become an ancestor spirit or demon. I want to wrap up by asking you, what is the state of your relationship with the Almighty Creator? I'd like to ask you to critically examine where you are relative to Him. Do you talk to Him constantly throughout the day and allow Him to lead you in every possible way? Do you worship Him at every opportunity? Have you clearly and unambiguously heard Him call you friend? If not, you're failing in your life purpose and you will be bitterly disappointed when you die. If you have now come to belief after listening to me, please pray along the following lines. Father Yah, I come to you in the name of Yahushua. It's not Yeshua, it's Yahushua. I now believe that you exist. I confess my sin of unbelief and repent of my unbelief, and I ask you to forgive my sin. I now commit my life to you, and I ask you to take me by the hand and lead me into deep relationship with you. I ask you to fill me with your spirit and to change me and help me to become the person you want me to become. I ask you to help me to find people who can help me and help me find books, websites, articles, and other resources that will help me. I ask you to show me what I can do to actively serve you and lead others to deep personal relationship with you. I thank you for saving me. Folks, it's that simple. This is being live streamed on LinkedIn and YouTube. It will be on the website by midday Saturday most weeks. And I will share it on WhatsApp for those of you who connected to me on WhatsApp. And I also share it on the email list for those who are on the emailing list. If you're not on the mailing list, drop me a line at james@endtimeissueministries.org so I can help you to pray with you, counsel you, etc. I got to bed late, early, depending on how you look at it. I got to bed or got to sleep after half an hour past midnight. Oh, this morning, counseling a friend on WhatsApp with a rather unpleasant situation that I'd encountered in his life with family. I'm here for you, folks. I want to help you. I want you to become friends of Yah. I've been down the road. I know what's required. So in closing, thank you for listening. Please send me your questions to james@endtimeissueministries.org. Please email me to join the mailing list at james@endtimeissueministries.org. If you decide to draw close to the Almighty, please let me know, and I can connect with you by Skype, Zoom, Teams, email, or telephone so that I can help you with your journey. I hope to connect with you again next week when I will continue to explore how to become a friend of the Creator. Work with me to make a way for Yeshua to return in victory at the end of the millennium and make his enemies his footstool. Folks, if you've been following this channel for a while, I'm expecting you'll drop off in a minute. I'm going to greet you in a moment. If this is your first or second or third time on this channel, please stay on. I've got some information I'd like to share with you, which I believe will help you to respond to what I've shared today. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. You can be an outright Satanist. You can be a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian or a Buddhist or a Yoga or a Confucian or whatever, Baha'i. Doesn't matter. Father Yah wants you to be his friend. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, tall or short, fat or thin, educated, uneducated, rich or poor. He wants you to be his friend. Doesn't matter where you are now. He will meet you where you are, and he will help you to go where you need to go. And I will help you if you drop me an email. So, folks, that's it. For you, those of you who are dropping off, I'm going to say good night. For those of you who've only just recently joined, please hold on. In closing, who am I? James Robertson. I have a doctorate in engineering and I'm a retired military commander. I now work as a management consultant. I have over 31 years experience of actively seeking to draw close to the Almighty, following a dramatic encounter with him on the 12th of March 1993, when he spoke to me audibly in a locked room and I knew for certain that he was real. In learning about Father, I applied my deep-seated aversion to failure, born out of an accident in early childhood, coupled to my engineering and military training of rigor in preventing failure, to my seeking of knowledge about Father. This journey led to numerous supernatural experiences, prayers answered, and clear communication with the Creator, and forms the basis of what I teach in these programs. See the video Why Seek Relationship for an overview of what I believe at the top of the website. Please visit the website at www.endtimeissueministries.org. There's a wealth of information there, lots of answers to questions. The ETI version of the Bible with correction of key translation errors is also near the top of the website at the ETI Bible version page. For recordings of nearly all of the teachings broadcast so far on Google, go to Relationship with Creator Radio, search in Google, and you'll find about 4 podcast websites with back issues. There are back issues also on the transcripts for broadcasts page, where you've got transcripts as well. And the last couple of years, TV broadcasts also on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Books with teachings from 1998 to May 2019 are at the Books for Printing page. I publish regular email articles. Email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org to be added to the list or to seek counsel or prayer or give me feedback. Visit the website and use the Google search, article keyword cloud, table of contents, and article search to locate the information you're looking for. The keyword cloud also a link at the top of the website, probably somewhere between 10 and 20,000 keywords, linking through to 2,500 articles. There is a lot of information there. There may well be answers to your questions somewhere on the website. endtimeissueministries.org. So I'm going to say good night. Thanks for listening.
Father, I come to you, lifting up my hands. By your grace I stand, just because you love me. I know your favorite.
Hi, I'm James Robertson. I want to ask you what you understand about the history of Yeshua, the Anointed of Yah, incorrectly called Jesus Christ. Also, what do you know about the Almighty Creator of the heavens and the earth, whose true name is Yah, the eternally self-existing? If you're not aware of the life and teachings of Yahushua, then please listen to my broadcast on w4cy.com internet radio or talk4tv.com internet TV. Also visit my website at www.endtimeissueministries.org or email me on james@endtimeissueministries.org to find out more. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much.